it's an amazing story of how, as recent as February, we were meeting with groups, and especially where this conversation started was with our local military families. And they were so used to being able to call 211 in other communities that they've been stationed in across the country. What we felt like we had an opportunity to correct was the fact that when people came to Fort Knox, they had no 211. There was no single point of entry into all that this wonderful community has to offer. And we, especially knowing the services that our military families and the sacrifices they make for us, of all people, they should deserve that service. And not only does it benefit them, but it benefits that entire 5-county region that I mentioned. So back in February, we started getting real serious, and the great news is I can say we have smart friends. We were not able to figure this out alone, and that's why it's taken since early 2000s to make this happen. This is a story of the right people in the right place at the right time and doors opening. And the best way I can think to describe it is a quote from President John F. Kennedy, who challenged us as a community and a country to go to the moon within a decade. And he said, "We do these things not because they are easy, but because they are hard." And 211 is so fitting because he said, the goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills, because the challenge is one that we are willing to accept, one that we are unwilling to postpone, and one which we intend to win. So that vision of organizing and putting all of our resources and energies together into one place with one backbone, one way of working together, that's exactly what United Way of Central Kentucky is about, and that's what 211 is about. So the person I owe so much of this day to is Glenn Powell with Metro United Way, who I'm going to ask to speak for just a moment. Again, this is a great story of United Way of Central Kentucky started out as part of Metro years ago, and 14 years ago broke off into a separate organization to focus on our local needs. But here we are, stronger than ever together, working together hand in hand, and he is the guy who really made this happen, because those of you who know and love me know I can barely keep my computer going most days. Technology is not my strong suit in life, and this is a very technical process we've had to go through for months and making this all work together. So Glenn, if you don't mind to come forward and say a few words about how this all happened.
Thank you. Thank you very much. These things scare me a little bit because I don't have a problem being heard. Before this life of being a 211 director, I was a law enforcement officer, and I'm 26 years retired military. So I can be loud when I need to be loud. But we did start working on this quite some time ago. I actually had the first conversation personally with Megan's predecessor, and then she and I began talking about it, and slowly but surely we began to be able to make it a reality. The website that we want to introduce you to today specifically is going to give you direct access to a little more than 2,600 different services. That's just serving your 5 counties here. In that database, you'll also be able to access about another 6,000 resources up in Jefferson County that you'll be able to pull up right there at that time. The search, you start out using your zip code, because what it's going to try to do is give you the research or give you the resource closest to your zip code. If there's one in your zip code, it's going to start out with that one. If there's one within a mile, it'll start out with that one and then work its way out exponentially as far as the distance is concerned. So you always want to put your zip code in first, but you don't have to. You can actually go in and plug in a name of a program or a need, food pantries, something like that, and then just hit search, and it's going to give you a wealth of information. It's just going to throw everything it's got out there in front of you, and then you kind of have to sort through it. So I do recommend always try to remember to plug in your zip code first. But as that goes along, if you know there's an agency in town that you're pretty sure they're in there, you can search by the agency name. We have common basic searches where you can just click on one of those. We actually have an A through Z where you can go look at that if you've really got like a rainy afternoon with nothing to do. Because there's a lot of stuff in there, folks. There's really a lot of stuff in there. And we have actually started trying to make this website, especially for you guys, a little more friendly to the population that you have. As Megan brought up the military, you might have some people who are going to be challenged as English with their first language. Your website will have a translator on it that will go to 12 different languages. It's mounted at the top of the site itself. There's also a bulletin board down in the lower right-hand corner. You can click on there and see if there's anything new going on in your community. That'll be updated on a regular basis. So we're real proud of that website. Megan's staff, Annie, everybody's worked really hard getting the data together and getting it put in. And then there's the phone service. We have the phones connected. We've got a little glitch. We're still tweaking that interpretation. 211 is like a speed dial. When we have to put it into the computers of a bunch of different phone services, because you guys have got like 4 or 5 different providers out here, and we have to do this with the mobile folks. So we're still tweaking that, but you can dial the 1-800 number, and in some cases, if you're on an AT&T line, you should be able to dial it. But I guarantee you that'll be fixed very shortly, because just as soon as I leave here, I'm going to go right back to work on that. But I'm very proud to be involved in the United Way of Central Kentucky's effort. I told Megan, just consider me another one of your staff people now, because my job is to make sure this thing stays up and stays running for you. I have a very strong connection down here. I was just talking to Major Land. One of the police officers that's been in this community for many years was my training officer, Gil Collier, when I was with Louisville Division of Police. So I have a strong connection down here. Stacy, the chief of police here now, Stacy Schiller, very close friend of mine. So Elizabethtown's kind of like a little home away from home. I've spent a lot of time down here with a lot of family from here. So I'm so glad to be able to finally help Megan bring this to you. Next, I think you're going to hear from Dr. Godfrey. As many of you probably know, he's the Chief Medical Officer at Hardin Memorial. And I don't know where he's at. I know he's supposed to be here.
Actually, I was just a fill-in for Tom Carrick.
Oh, and Tom just showed up.
He's more than a fill-in. He's back.
Okay, I know that Tom was who I was supposed to be introducing. All right, Tom, come on up. It's your turn.
Thank you, Glenn. Hardin Memorial has been investing in the communities for 62 years. Megan came to us about a year ago and said, you know, we know you guys are really investing heavily in the health of your communities, and we know you're doing some specific things around continually improving the health, or something that we internal to healthcare call population health management. She said, I really think we have a service that could augment what you guys are trying to accomplish. And I said, well, tell me about it. So as she told me about it, I said, I don't see this as an augmentation. I see it as a necessity. You know, because essentially, if our citizens, and especially those who are most vulnerable in our communities, don't have the basic needs met, housing, shelter, food, quality access to food, those are things. Health literacy is a huge issue, and being able to have resources to provide those basic necessities then allow a person to have some gained stability and eventually become a productive citizen who then can seek out and start to manage their own health. So this is really synergistic between Hardin Memorial and Central Kentucky United Way, and I cannot thank Megan and her leadership enough for bringing this to us, because we really do see the benefits of this long term. You know, as we continue to invest, we know that the payoff is going to be a better economy, more productive citizens working in this economy, and that's a win-win for everybody. So on behalf of Central Kentucky United Way and Hardin Memorial Health, I just want to thank you guys for being here today, supporting this, and I will certainly be happy to turn the microphone over, because Megan knows and Dennis Johnson knows I could speak forever, but I know there are some others that want to be able to speak today. But thank you all for being here. And one other thing I would add, because I'm a data geek, is that this solution also will really allow us to hone in on the very specific needs of our community, because what's going to happen is every call, every transaction gets recorded in a database, and that database is going to allow us to say what types of services are being requested most often. Then we can hone in and say, okay, these are the sources of need, these are the things that impact the health of the community, impact the productivity of the citizens, and these are the areas where we need to invest more. So I'm as excited about that aspect of it as anything else. But thank you all for being here.
Hi, I'm Michelle Bowen, the operations manager at Hardin County 911. I've worked in 911 for about 6 years, and I was very, very excited when I learned that 211 was going to come to our community. A few weeks ago, my colleagues and I came here to meet with some folks from United Way, and that's the first that we had heard that it was coming here. We were all very excited. I think I grinned from ear to ear the whole time that we were here talking. Hardin County 911 this year has received so far through October 31st about 45,000 911 calls. Of that number, we estimate that 3,000 of those calls were for non-emergency assistance. People, you can't even imagine the requests we get sometimes. And dispatchers like to help people. If we can't help you when you call, we feel like that we failed somehow. So some calls, I can remember one call we got where somebody needed a car seat. That was their emergency at that time, is they needed a car seat. And we had nothing to do, no resource to give them, no direction to send them in. We have people that call because they're driving through our community, they run out of gas on their way to wherever they're going, and they don't have any way to purchase gas. They don't have any contacts here, they don't know anybody. And before we try to send them to a police department or maybe somebody that can help them out, we kind of have a network of people that we knew would help in those kind of situations. But now we actually have a number, and we don't even have to tell them to call. We just have a button on the screen, we press it, and their call is connected straight to the 211 system. So we're really excited about that. We also have a public education campaign that we use to promote 911 services, and we're going to partner with 211, and we're going to have when to call 911, and on the other side we're going to create brochures and literature that will tell people when to call 211. So we are very excited, and we are proud to partner with United Way to get the information out to the community and be helpful for all of us. Thank you, guys.
Hi guys, good morning, or afternoon, I'm sorry. Can everybody hear me well?
Yeah.
My name is Amy Hamilton. I'm a VISTA, Volunteers in Service of America, and my project was to help bring 211 to life. My second day here, I got to meet with Glenn, and I got to see the wonderful, enormous undertaking that this was going to be. And it was so positive to go through it because we talked to our agencies and we talked to the people in the community, and they were so forthcoming with their information. I've only been here since August. In that time, we've been able to put 600 services in there for people. We've been able to put 73 agencies in. That's not a lot of time, and the surveys can be kind of gruesome whenever you get into, say, Hardin Memorial Health or Communicare. It's been a great undertaking. But I think one thing you guys are really excited to look at is, how does this work? Well, say you're going to go onto the website. First thing you do is you put your zip code in, because like Glenn said, it is zip code based. And then we'll use Helping Hand of Hope, since Gary's here. And you put in you'll put in Hardin County, or you'll put in 42701. Thank you, I'm from Eaton County. And it'll pop up. And then you'll say either I want to find Helping Hand of Hope, or I need a food pantry. You click on food pantry, and there'll be every single food pantry in Hardin County that pops up. You'll have a phone number, an address, an email address. Once you click on it, you can click a button and have it sent directly to your smartphone. All the phone numbers, all of the addresses. You can have an email to yourself. So it is really a multi-platform tool that's going to help people in every way possible. And the fact that it is so smartphone savvy, it's really going to advance technology when it comes to referrals. We are going to be providing trainings on the service very soon. You can either come see me, or you can see Stephanie. If nobody said it yet, Stephanie Hester has been a fantastic person and helped us tremendously on this project. We will be sending out data, and we'll send out emails, anything you need, because we really want you to use this the best you can to help as many people as possible. All right, and then Also, there is materials over there behind you guys on the table. That there's a data sheet, there is posters, there's wonderful, wonderful business cards that you can pass out to people. Make sure to grab some of those before you leave. And if you have any questions, come find me. And otherwise, I'm going to turn it back over to Megan.
Add one little thing. I want to follow up on something that Angie said about the smartphone. I saw several people's eyes going, is there an app for that? Actually, there is an app for that, but it also, this past year, I've updated a lot of our online activities, and now the website itself is mobile phone friendly. So you do not have to have the app for that. You can go right onto the website, drill down to the search engine. It will be formatted to fit your phone, and it will provide you with the same information, the exact same information, the same way it would be if you were sitting at your desk on a computer. So no, there's not an app for that. It's better than that.
Thank you, Glenn. And I should point out too, there's a QR code, which you all know my technology ability here. So I hear if you scan this, that's too high tech for me, but if you scan that QR code on the back of those business cards, it'll also take you directly to the database. But again, we are just here to say thank you to especially our sponsors. West Banco, really couldn't have done it without them. HMH, you believed in us before anybody. You saw the vision, and we appreciate your leadership with that. And also Bluegrass Cellular, we work with you in so many ways. We're glad to finally be able to provide this service to your customers, and again, that entire 5-county region. To our staff, to our team, especially Stephanie Hester as well, Annie Hamilton, our AmeriCorps Vista program, which is really the only way this was all possible, because you would not have wanted me entering those 600 surveys and all of the information into the system. We really couldn't have done it without the capacity building support, and that's exactly what that Vista grant is here to provide us and our community with. So without further ado, we have cake, we have refreshments. Please don't leave us alone with this cake all day. We definitely know it's the holidays, and we appreciate you all being part of our celebration today, which will be feeling free to stick around. Take some materials with you today, as many as you want. They are here to get out into the community, and we appreciate you being part of not a finish, but really a beginning of a wonderful opportunity for our community. So thank you again.